Hi, greetings. This is Amit Chatterjee here. Uh, I want to talk about assessments today, and I want to ask you what is that one criteria that you apply while selecting a psychometric assessment? I'm sure it's running in your mind that you would look for accuracy. So, the report I'm going to talk about today, the Omnia Assessments, has got a 93% accuracy, which is considered very high. And that is what makes the report reliable or trustworthy when we use this report within our organization. Omnia is a Tampa, Florida headquartered company, founded in 1985. So they've been around 37 years. So a report like Omnia can be used in two different scenarios. The first scenario is when we are hiring our people. So when we hire people, let's say we are interviewing a critical position and we have two or three final shortlisted candidates. We have looked into their eligibility, and after the eligibility is selected, we then start to apply our own judgment, our own perception of the three candidates, and wherever we develop that comfort, depending on the candidate's articulation, maybe the trust that the candidate is able to build, and then the confidence level, etc. We feel that, okay, I'm inclined towards a certain candidate and I want to close with that person. I wish to bring a third angle here, which is the science of hiring. Okay? And that's where Omnia comes in. And the Omnia report gives us more insight into the three candidates and their suitability to the job. So it looks at the job description and the demands of the job, and it maps that job expectations from these three candidates to see which candidate is more suitable for the job. So I now have a more scientific, proven analysis coming in from an assessment. And therefore, I can now combine all of these things, my ratings on eligibility, my own judgment, and also what this report is bringing in from a scientific angle. And I combine all of that to take a more well-informed decision. And we all know that if you have a wrong hire, how costly it becomes. Yeah? It's at least we lose 6 months of time, and we lose a lot of money and a lot of time. And so therefore, not a healthy situation. So this is the first use case. And I will shortly talk about how the Omnia report works. The second use case is in terms of developing our people. As leaders in the company, we are working with a set of people, and this team has been around us for a long time. They have committed their lives to it. They're extremely hardworking people. They have been around for a long time. And as a leader, I really like that. But as it always happens, there is something I like in the leader, and there is something that I desire that the leader had more of. So for example, I quite like the leader's passion and the go-getter behavior and the performance orientation and the provenness, performance track record of the individual. But what I wish is that this leader collaborated a bit more, yeah? Worked with his peers, worked with his own team members a bit more, because I often get complaints that this leader is a good guy, but he does things on his own. Yeah? So how can he collaborate a bit more? Don't we have this kind of scenario within our company? It's a very common scenario. So here I'm expecting that this leader collaborates a bit more, and I do not get that behavior. There's another set of behavior that I do not want the leader to exhibit, but he or she exhibits. And what is that? That could be, let's say, an emotional balance. Yeah? I like everything about this leader, a very dynamic leader, and leads from the front and so on. But the leader has, this emotional triggers. He gets triggered very quickly. And once he gets triggered, then there's no looking left or right. He just loses himself. He can be extremely harsh with people, with partners. And that has often affected. And some people have actually resigned and left because they said that I can't work with this guy. He's so abrasive. I can't work with this guy. So therefore, I like many aspects of this leader, but I wish that he had better emotional balance and better emotional management. So here I'm expecting a behavior, this behavior not to be exhibited. Yeah. So there are always within our team, we are looking at our own team members. We like them, and we like this leader to do a bit more than what he or she does. And in some cases, we want less of a certain behavior that we do not want. Now, what have we done about it? We have done huge number of annual appraisals. We've done lots of one-on-one reviews. We've done a lot of counseling. We put the leader through a lot of soft skill training, and yet we see that it's not been that impactful. So this is where again an assessment like Omnia can bring in the science, science of the behavior. So these behaviors that we are discussing, this behavior can be broken down into parts, and then we can look into each of those parts and try to define and try to better understand the individual, raise the awareness for the individual. This is what Omnia does.